Please like, comment, subscribe, and support.
Hello everybody and welcome to this special edition of Geeking Off. Yeah, this one is a Patreon request by Jason Goyette, the Diabetic Geek here on YouTube. He's been wanting me to kind of do a tutorial on Lightworks. And I figured after the recent battle, it'd be good because Lightworks is a program that I think is a little bit better in the workflow department than Kadian Live.
Computers, gaming, retro gear, devices, tech reviews, and more. Geeking Off with AnthWare.
So here's Lightworks. This is what you log into. Well, after you log it in, you only have to log in when your license expires for that particular period. As you can see here, I got 8 days. So every time you open it, you don't have to keep re-logging in. So if you buy like a year license or a lifetime license, you only have to do it that one time. And what also makes Lightworks really unique is it is cross-platform. You could share your projects with somebody who may edit on a Mac or edit on a Windows machine. So this tutorial is good for anybody on all three of those platforms. You do not have to be just a Linux user to enjoy this software. It is really great. When you first get here, you're going to notice this project browser. This is all the projects you're working on and projects that you're going to be working on. Today we're going to be doing a very simple vlog. I pre-recorded some clips that I used in the battle video, and we're going to go ahead and run with those. Those video clips are 60 frames per second from the camera, so we're going to go ahead and select 60 frames per second here on our frame rate. Next, we can give it a title. We're going to call this Test Vlog. Okay. When you're done with that, we just go ahead and click Create down here. It's going to open this window, and now we get to import our clips into our video project. So I'm going to go and explore to a folder here called, I think it's under Vlogs 2016. I'm trying to remember where I put this file, so give me a second. Here I have taken some videos. We're just going to go ahead and select the videos that I recorded with my Panasonic Lumix camera. You get different options here. You can create a link. What this does is it works off the video files. You can also transcode the video files if you want them to be in a different format. I personally do not like the transcode because I feel like when you transcode it, it brings it down to a lower quality than the original. So I usually just create a link, and if the video file does not import correctly, I will use something like FFmpeg to convert the file, and I usually have to do that with my 4K camera. And believe it or not, I have to convert it to an MOV file because Lightworks seems to work a lot better with the 4K content that way. Don't ask me why, it's just weird. Sometimes it can be picky with the formats that you import, and if it is being picky, you can use any type of converter you like on whatever operating system you're on to convert it to something it will love. For the most part, on all my 1080p cameras, I can just import the MTS files without issue, no problem. So let's go ahead and import these files. It's going to import them over here, and then it's going to open up this window. Now this window is our kind of like media library, kind of what's working. I don't know the best way to describe it, but from here we can create bins. We're going to go ahead and create a bin and call this, well, you know what, we're going to call it Day Vlog or something. Yeah, we'll call it Day Vlog. Okay, so normally what I do with the bins, I will organize all my clips into dates, like date 2, and you know, like say it's, what's today, 7, we're just going to put a random date in here. Okay, we'll say it's the 7/15th of 2015. And I usually separate them out by date. That way I kind of know which day and how I'm going to edit it's going to go along. This is all one day, so I don't have to add anything to it. And sometimes I'll add another bin that I call in and out. Now, in and out is like the intro, the outros, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and import these now. Go ahead and go to my intros. Oops. You know what? Yeah, we'll use that just to be funny. We'll go ahead and work with that. I clicked on the wrong file, but it's an intro. It's a Minecraft intro. Okay. Okay, we got an intro. It's not the right intro for the vlog. Over here is your tools. This one is record from clips or tape. I never use this. Import. This will allow you to import more files if we want to add more. It's a great tool to use, I guess. Here's our timeline, or add a new edit. This will be our timeline. I don't use this. I don't use this. And I don't use this. And I don't use this. A thing to keep in mind though, see this little tool down here? In order to use this, you have to go in here and turn it on. See, it's usually when you first install it, it's gone. So you just click the little man with the gear over here, click here, and I usually choose global so it works everywhere. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the timeline. So we're going to go and click to create a new edit. And now we have a new timeline open. This is where we're going to do a lot of our work. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and let's just go ahead and import this intro. Okay, we double click on it and it now opens up. I'm going to learn the shortcut keys. You press A to go back to the next marker and S to go forward to the next marker. So A. Okay, so we're going to use those shortcut keys a lot. So once we A over to the beginning, we're going to go ahead and hit I for the start in, and then we're going to go ahead and press S to move forward to the end of the clip, and we're going to press O for out, and then press V to dump it down into the timeline. Bam, it's down there. We now have our intro in the timeline. We can hold down Control and use the scroll wheel to kind of zoom in here and get a little better view of what we're doing. Now, when you first import clips, it won't be in stereo. It's going to be kind of in a mono situation. So what I usually do is I right click over here on the A1 track, and we're going to select group tracks. We're going to select A1 and A2 and OK. Now they're grouped. Over here on this gear icon, we can click here and go to audio mixer panel. In the audio mixer panel, we can now move these little sliders up here that it says adjust pan, one to the right and one to the left. And now it'll be in stereo. Okay. Now in the timeline, we can use these same controls for A to go back and S to go forward. And that'll put us at the end of that clip. So what we're going to do is we're going to go make sure we're at the end of this clip now that we've got an intro in there, and we're going to start putting together our vlog. So I'm going to select the date. Oh, I forgot I just called it day vlog. And we're going to go ahead and insert our first clip of this vlog, as you can see, which is a cup of coffee. If you're making a vlog, you got to start it with a cup of coffee. Now we're on our first clip. We need to figure out where I want this clip to start and where I want it to end. So let's go ahead and play it a little bit. And I press I for in where I want to start it. And I'm going to try to find that point here in a second. Okay, start talking right about there. So let's go ahead and put our in point there. Play.
This is my morning coffee. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I kind of want to cut out that, oh, yeah, that's out there. Yeah, okay. So now we've got our in and out points here. We're going to go ahead and press V again to dump it into the timeline. Now our clip is in here, and we can go ahead and preview it over here.
Morning coffee. Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and stop that, and I'm going to S to go to the end point here and move on to our next clip. Our next clip looks like it's a picture of my computer. Let's go ahead and see what this is all about.
Now it is.
Okay, so I start talking right about there.
Now it is time to get everything ready to do this live stream that I'm about to perform, making this simple vlog live between the two programs. Once I'm all set up here, I'll be ready to go live.
Okay, this one pretty much goes all the way to the end. I'm sorry about the lag in the video. It does not do this normally when I edit. It's just because I'm screen capturing, of course. That's just how this works. So unfortunately, we're going to have to edit with laggy video, and this is going to be an interesting challenge. So I go ahead and set my out point there, and go ahead and dump that onto the timeline. Okay. Let's go ahead and now close this one. And let's move on to our next clip. Starting to notice a pattern?
Oh no.
Okay, so I started talking there. In.
Oh no, my cup of coffee's empty.
Okay, so this clip I am going to have to edit a bit. I obviously was doing something here.
Stand up, Light.
So let me find out where it ends. Oh, wow. Look at that hair.
I guess I should probably make myself a little bit more presentable for a live stream. Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to put the out point. I'm going to press V again, dump that one in the timeline. Now this one, I have different areas that are going to require different kinds of work too. As you can see here where the audio kind of dips out here, this is where we're probably going to have to remove stuff. Because remember, I moved the camera.
He's empty.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the I to create an endpoint. And find an out point here. Looks like I'm just goofing around here. How long do I do this? Okay, do it to about right. And now we're going to press O for our out point. Now to delete it, all we have to do is press X. And now all that space between there is gone. You can also use remove, which is down here. And that will just remove the space between. Let me go ahead and undo that and show you real quick. Remove just removes that if you want to put something else in here. So we're going to go ahead and just X to finish that. And there we go. We took that little part there, and it looks like I need to shave. Yeah, I'm having a rough morning there, aren't I? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back. I'm going to press A to kind of go back to this endpoint here. We're going to add our next clip, which is, oh wow, I'm all prettied up. And we'll put an endpoint there. Oh, I haven't started talking. We'll reset it there.
There we go. This is a little better.
Okay. Let me get that just right. Ouch. And we're going to go press V that in there. And now this clip has been added to our timeline. Kind of neat, huh? All right, let's go press S, go to the end here. And now it looks like we got one clip last here. Let's see what we got. Okay, start talking right about there.
We are all set up here and ready to do a live show. Yep, ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed this nice little test vlog. This has been Anthony from AnthWare, and from this time and every time on, folks, keep on clicking. This is Anthony from AnthWare, and I'm a flaming douchebag. Signing off.
Okay, it looks like, well, I want to set my out point there. Looks like I said a word that I don't want. I don't want, people in the audience to know that I'm a flaming douchebag. So what I'm going to do is hold down Control, zoom in a little bit, and we're going to find out where I made this mistake here on the timeline.
This is Anthony from AnthWare, and I'm a flaming douchebag.
Okay, so here's where I say it. You can kind of look at the audio down here and see where I've made that mistake when I was calling myself names. So what I'm going to do is kind of go between these audio points, an I and O for in and out. Go ahead and hit our X, and ta-da! Our clip is now edited. Okay, next we need to kind of do a little bit of extra work, what I like to do in my vlog. So I'm kind of going to go over, I guess what I call color correction, brightness, contrasting, and like that. Down here we got the effects button. Let's go ahead and click that. Under effects, I can now choose our color. I'm going to go to the color category, and this one here is a preset that I made that's already ready to go, but we're going to, I believe it will come with the color correction one here. So we'll go ahead and double click that, and now it's been added to our timeline. Now in the color correction, you can change the color, adjust your colors, make things look better, add more greens, blues, your midtones, your highlights, your shadows, whatever you need to do. Saturation. In this one, I think I'm going to bring down increase the contrast just a little bit, just kind of get rid of some of that whiteness in the screen. And we can adjust, because that light's a little bright on that cup, So what I usually do is just kind of play around with these settings until I find something that I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. That is just what I'm looking for. And bring that down maybe a little bit. And if you want a little bit more fine tuner, you can hover your mouse over the numbers here and use your scroll wheel to adjust. It gives you a little bit more fine tuning there. So let's go ahead, and this is usually what I do to every clip, and I try to fix it the best I can. This one I don't think I need to do anything to, because it's just a picture of the monitor. So I won't have to do anything to that one. Maybe a little bit to this one. Not much. There's really not much going on in this clip. Yeah, I don't have to do much to that one. So you're getting the idea here. This is how you're going to fix clips that might be a little bad. Like this one, is a lot of white in here. And I usually notice that when you increase the contrast, it can remove some of that whiteness from the picture, and it's usually how I like to remove that, because it's just too bright. Maybe pull it down a little bit and see how it goes. And we'll double click, and every time you double click, it just adds it to the clip that you're hovering over. So as you can see here, it adds this little dot shading. There's one effect in there, just to let you know. There's one effect in there, and we can go ahead and do whatever. You know, if I wanted to be purple in this shot, it can be purple. Yeah, you can go crazy with it if you want. And sometimes when you get sometimes your camera may catch a room, make it yellow. You can add a little blue to it to remove that yellowishness. Kind of play around with it until you get it to where you want it. And on the last clip here, I think this is one I won't have to worry about here. And there we go. We've got some basic effects in there. Let's go ahead, and now we're going to need to add some transitions in here. As you can see, I put my mouse here, cursor here, or whatever you want to call this. I'm going to press A to go in between these two clips. Now, under our effects window here again, let's go ahead and do our audio first. Why not? Under audio, I like to do a little crossfade. And since this is a 60 frame per second video, I'm going to try, let's do it about 8 frames. You can also do it by seconds, whatever you like. And to add it, all we got to do is, of course, double click it. And it's a little bit too small. I would like to change that to more than 8 frames. Let's try 60. And because it is 60 frames per second, I might have to go 32 to make it what I want. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. That's more of what I want. Then I'm going to press S twice. And now that's going to move us to our next section. Double click on crossfade. Now it's added. Do SS again. Double click it. 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 Now at the end here, I kind of want this to fade out. As you can see here, if I put my mouse pointer right at the tip where there's like a little arrow, it turns, the mouse cursor has 2 little arrows at the bottom. I can now right click and drag a little fade over here to kind of fade it out.
Signing off.
Okay, there we go. Easy as that. Now I'd like to add some transitions to the video portion. So we're going to go here, press A, and we'll get right in the middle here. We're going to click here to disable these tracks so they are not in our way while we're editing. Otherwise, these now points will get in our way. This way it's a little easier on us. And we're just going to go and we're going to select our, I believe it's under mixes. Yep, this is it. And one of my favorites is the wipe. I usually just, let's see here, how many frames do I want this wipe to be? We'll do it the same as the audio, so they're kind of consistent there at the 32 frames. We double click in the wipe. It brings us up here, and now if we click this little pattern section, it's now going to give us a ton of different transitions to use. And what I'd like to do is kind of just shuffle between these. So I'll like say, okay, we'll do fan on that one. Okay, we're going to press SS twice, SS, and double click on wipe and put our next wipe in. And okay, so right, let's randomize this more. So let's just, I don't know, we'll use barn door 4. So that way every transition is a little different than the last. I'm going to SS again, and we're going to continue to do this on the rest of our clips. At our wipe, let's see, which one should we do this one? Let's go to matrix and do some spirals. There we go. Let's go ahead and wipe it in there. Wipe it. Yeah, it's kind of a interesting way. We'll try one of these clocks over here. And there's that. And then we're going to put in our next one. Kind of rinse and repeat here. As you can see, if you watched my Gideon live video, you can see this is a lot quicker than moving the clip to another time, another track on the timeline and doing something different. And yeah, much easier this way. Our clips are getting added or affected or whatnot. And now I'm going to do something different here at the end because there was a change in the word. And on this one, let's go ahead, because this one is where I cut out that word, but I don't want to have a weird transition for this last second. So we're going to go ahead and just add the dissolve one here. It makes that transition a little bit more easier and a little bit more seamless. And then at the end here, let me go ahead and zoom into the timeline. Let's go ahead and this time we're gonna click and drag dissolve onto it, because you can see here we get different options as we move around here for this dissolve. I want it right there. That way we get a nice little fade out. Dun dun dun. And there you go. Easy as that. Let's go ahead and unmute that track. And now we've got our video. Let's go zoom out here. And there's our video. Yep, that is our video. Kind of almost done, but not quite. Let's just say I wanted to add some music to this. Go over here to the gears. We're going to add tracks. We're going to add 2 audio tracks. And then after 1 and 2, and we want 2 tracks for the music, click add. There we go. We now have a new set track. So let's go ahead and I'm going to find some music to import here. I'm just going to randomly select one. I believe one of my favorites. Where is it? Let's go ahead and import that. Go ahead, double click to open it. And as you can see here, we got, I can press I for in, move it to the end, out. Now before we go ahead and insert it, we need to mute these tracks, because if we do not mute these and we press V, it does that. So let's go ahead and undo that. So we're going to mute these 2 tracks, then V it in there, and ta-da! There it is. Our track's in there. For now, I'm going to put an O where it's sitting now. You're going to go back here, unmute these tracks now, A it to where it's ending, and put an endpoint there. X her out of there. I'm going to zoom in here and kind of create a fade for the out. Now the intro already has music in it, so what we're going to do is we're just going to cut that out. Start it right about there. I'm going to out it there. In it here. Now this is an example where we're going to use the remove. Oops. Okay, here's an example we're going to use the remove. I forgot to mute these 2 tracks, so when I hit remove, there we go. There we go. Let's go ahead and clear those. Clear those with clearer points here. Unmute those again. Get in here and kind of get our music set. Oh, what I want to do here is I need to group these real quick. I'm going to group these 2 tracks. So that way any changes I do to one side will automatically go to the other. There we go. Let's just pull the audio down on that music a little bit.
This is my morning coffee. Oh, yeah.
Now what's neat about this is if you right click, let me go ahead and you can adjust the size of these tracks by just, you wait till the arrow and then you can move them around, make a certain track a little bigger. So that way you can get in here. Now when the mouse turns to a double, the up and down arrows you can see there, right click and it creates a waypoint. You can now right click on this waypoint and adjust it up for volume down or volume down. This is really neat if you got areas where the music might get louder. And this particular track, the audio is kind of all the same, but sometimes you get audio where certain parts of the song get quieter than the other and others are louder than the others. This way you can kind of adjust your audio, for those louder points, bring it up, when it's quieter. Say this was a louder point there. And Spacebar, of course, you keep seeing me, I forgot to mention Spacebar is
now it is
playing it.
It is time.
Probably should have said that at the very beginning.
Time to get everything ready to do.
All right, so now we've got some audio in there. Let's go ahead and just kind of see how it's looking on the mixer. Of course, it's not in stereo, so we're just going to drag that for those 2 tracks.
Yep.
And there we
ready
go.
To go. So
and we now have an audio track for audio. Video.
So hope you enjoyed this nice little test.
Now, in all videos, you need to add a title to your video, because the title lets you know what the video is all about. So as you can see here, I am actually working on this video at the exact moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a title to it. So we're going to click Effects down here. We're going to go over here, and we're going to choose, I believe it's under just titles. We'll click on that. Now in here, you get a bunch of presets. Some of them I've saved and made myself. But for most of you, the default one should be here. That's just called Titles. And this is one I saved myself, and I'm going to show you how to do that once we make one. So usually what I like to do is I go to the timeline and I click delete here. this will be the start of the title. And what I like to do is kind of read it real slowly, so that way it stays on the screen long enough for an average person to read. So let's go ahead and play. Lightworks Tutorial 12.6 2016. Okay, so right about there. We're going to hit delete again. And now this is going to be our title area. Let's go ahead and double click our title in. And there we go. It's in there. I've already typed it up on and over here, so I'm just going to copy and paste it over. And put it right in here. And bump. Or you can just type it in there if that's what you're into. What I'm going to do to kind of clean this up a little bit is, yeah, let's do something like that. I don't know. Well, here, you know what? We'll do it like that. Okay, that makes a little sense. My favorite font I like to use, you can select your typeface here. For Geeking Off, I like Jumpman, I believe it's called. Select Jumpman. And here you can change the bold, the italics, and the size. We're going to make that a little bit bigger there. Let's go ahead. And you can add transparency if you want, but we're not going to do that for this example. Now let's go over here where it says face. And you get 3 different options for colors. My favorite is the sheen. I like it. So I'm going to choose my main color. And then kind of make it a little bit of a lighter red, so it's kind of like that. Kind of like a little orange in the center. Now that we're done with that, we go over to position. I feel like it needs to be moved down maybe a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Right there. Leading, this just kind of separates it if you want it, you know, something like that. I want it, well, let's try it right about there. Let's go to shadow. And now we can adjust our drop shadow. We click here on our color choices. We can change the color of the shadow. I'm just going to leave it at its default, which is black and white, and go over here to alpha, and you can thicken that shadow a little bit. Go ahead, click out of that. And now let's go ahead and adjust our offsets here. Just scroll wheel over and choose where we want it. Usually the defaults are pretty good. We might have to adjust it after we add our outline. Click here to add your outline, and then we're going to change our color to yellow. And then we need to move this one here. I believe it's this one. Yeah. We move that, and it gives us a little bit more brighter edged yellow. We can change the size of it here, kind of, you know, thicken it up a little bit. Now, as you can see, we need to adjust that shadow a little bit more now because the outline is hiding our shadow. So let's move it and adjust that shadow a bit. There we go. Right about there. Now that we're done, we can go ahead and go over the effects tab. My favorite is the typewriter. I like the typewriter effect. And when it's done, we're just going to do a fade. Simple as that. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. I'm happy with that title. And that's about it. And when you're done, if you would like to save it, you can go over here and click the Save as Template button. Here you can give it a name. Choose a category you want to put it in, like titles. You can even click to add it to your favorites and give it a description and click Do It. And that's how you add a basic title to your video. As you can see now, I've got my video pretty much done. I normally add an outro, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to add an outro at the moment. Oops. And we're going to zoom in here. And what I like to do at the end of the video, YouTube sometimes can cut the end of a video out, which is really, really, really annoying. So what I like to do is add at least another few seconds in there. So we'll add like, I don't know, 13, 14. Sometimes I like to end it on an odd number, like, there we go. We'll do it at 1 minute, 15 seconds. We're going to go ahead and hit I for in, press S to go to the end of it, all the way to the end of it. We'll do it again, and O for out, and we're going to X that out of there. And now if I zoom out, the entire project is viewable on this timeline. Now, if you like, you could go through your clip, rewatch it over and over, make adjustments as needed to your audio or your effects, or if you want to add a new effect, you can. But as you can see here, we've edited a basic vlog, a very basic vlog. We can kind of free things up here and make the workspace a little bit better. You can also minimize this to make it smaller. Okay, we'll just put it over here for now. Now let's say we're done with our video. We are completely done. We're happy with it. It's just the way we want. I'll go ahead and click on the gear icons over here on the timeline. Click on, well, just hover over export. And this is where we get options. If you're using the free version, the YouTube option is available to you and the Vimeo option, I believe. And you can also change it here. I believe these two options are available to the free users of the software. Of course, this is a 60 frames per second video, so you set your frame size, how much resolution you want. This goes all the way up to 4K. Now, for the YouTube one, I usually don't use it because I feel like the bitrate, you can't adjust the bitrate of it, which I think is kind of silly. Make sure to unclick Mark Selection unless you want a certain section. For example, let's say I only wanted to render into this little section here. That's where the markers come in handy. And you can choose to only render that marked selection by this checkbox here. And that could be if you want to, you have more in this timeline and you just want that. But as you can see, I cut out the end and put a little darkness back there, so I don't need that. You can go ahead and set it to upload this to youtube.com. I don't need it. I will upload it on my own time. And here's where you set your folder of where you're going to put it. Yeah, it's my folder that I put stuff. And then here under the name, you can give the video a name. If you leave it on automatic, it's going to stay whatever you left over here. As you can see, this says edit 1, and I call this vlog 56 or 65. Okay. Then whatever's an automatic, that's what's going to render off. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to render this off yet. I'm just going to go over these options. Another option that I use a lot, this is actually what I do use, is the H.264 MP4. This is my favorite option. You got a lot of format options in here, a lot. All the way to 4K. You got your 1080p's. You got everything you need. And of course, that's the one we want there. It automatically kind of figured out that's what I want. Under compression type, there's these little gear icons, and here's where you can set your bit rate. You can set it all the way up to 16. Now this will change depending on the bit rate of the original video. So if it's a little bit higher, you can get this a little bit higher. Like on the 4K videos, I usually do them at about 20. For vlogs, 8 is just about right. It's good enough for YouTube quality. Sample rate, I just usually leave these alone. And of course, here's we don't want to do the whole mark selection, so we're going to leave this on automatic, and now we're going to go ahead and render this. This is probably going to kill it. And at the end of this tutorial, you'll go ahead and see how this video turned out. I'll put this video that we edited here at the very end there. And now our video is done encoding. As you can see here, we got our vlog 65. We can go ahead and see what we got.
This is my morning coffee. Oh yeah! Now it is time to get everything ready to do this live stream that I'm about to perform, making this simple vlog live between the two programs. Once I'm all set up here, I'll be ready to go live. Oh no, my cup of coffee's empty. I guess I should probably make myself a little bit more presentable for a live stream. Yeah. There we go. This is a little better. We are all set up here and ready to do a live show. Yep, ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed this nice little test vlog. This has been Anthony from AnthWare, and from this time and every time on, folks, keep on clicking. This is Anthony from AnthWare, signing off.
Anyways, I hope this helps anybody who wants to give Lightworks a try and helps you get started. As you can see, it wasn't that complicated, now was it? You know, it was pretty easy. It wasn't as difficult as we thought. Thank you for watching, everyone, and have a good day.